quorum, God willing, on or around 7:30, pending some extra things that may come up, hopefully on around 7:30.
You did a great job.
How you doing, sir?
Are you hungry, Edith?
Lehman, Mr. Newhouse, Mr. Blacken. That should be 5.
Yes, we do have 5. We're going to go into closed session. We should be out by no later than 7.
Ready to read the resolution? Please. The executive session resolution, whereas the public law 1975, chapter 231 of the Open Public Meetings Act provides that a public body may not exclude from the public any meeting to discuss any matter described herein until the public body disperses after the resolution. And whereas the Board of Education in the Township of Lakewood has determined that the following items must be discussed in closed session, that the public must be excluded from said deliberations, and whereas the Board of Education of the Township of Lakewood has determined that subject matter in closed discussion falls within those matters prescribed in subsection 7B of the Open Public Meetings Act. Therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Education, the Township of Lakewood, County of Ocean, the State of New Jersey, that the Board of Education closed session may discuss one of the following subject matters: any pending anticipated litigation or contract negotiations as stated involving the appointment, termination of appointment, and any deliberations occurring after the public hearing, which subject matter constitutes subject matter which described in subsection 7 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education Township of Lakewood will disclose in public the subject matter of said discussion as soon as the matter has been resolved and determinations can be disclosed to the public. At this time, I'd like to make a recording of the fact that Mr. Bender, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Nakdemon, Mr. Newhouse, and Mr. Zlakin all voted on that to go into closed session. So at this time, we're going to go to closed session. We should be out sometime around 7:30, maybe a little bit later.
Not a problem.
Mr. Zlakin.
I like those shoes. I can't wear
Ms.
them.
Gonzalez. Mr. Nakdemon.
Here.
Mr. Newhouse. Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Tendler. Mr. Tricer. Ms. Jackson Byers.
Here.
Mr. Bender.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Through the chair,
Yes.
we do have a presentation this evening. We do have a presentation this evening regarding security. I do want to thank the Lakewood Police for coming, as they always do, to our meetings, but actually others have joined them. So I'd like them, Sergeant Marshall and Lieutenant Butterworth are here, I believe. Is that correct? They are, so let's have a hand for our Lakewood Police. If they can come up and join us. And the security is a very important issue for our students and for liability purposes. We've had the pleasure, please have a seat or join us, whatever is good for you, and we're going to recognize you in a moment. We do have a short presentation. If we could have a moment of silence again, and I don't know how the translating works. How do people translate? Okay, if we could have a short presentation. Go ahead, please.
In the shooting Wednesday, February 14, 2018,
Okay.
at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, 17 people were killed. 3 were on staff as coaches, 4 teachers, and 14 were students. Here are their names.
As part of our presentation this evening, Ms. Winters has prepared a security presentation. Again, I do want to thank Sergeant Marshall, who freed up some time this week to meet with Ms. Winters, Mr. Stillwell, and myself. And if you could just give us a few seconds, this will be on the website as of tomorrow, Jim. But a short presentation, since security has always been important and continues to be important to Lakewood schools, and we continue to collaborate with the Lakewood Police Department. Ms. Winters, thank you.
Going to do a brief overview of the Lakewood School District security. We start off with, we have the Director of Security, Mr. John Stillwell. We have, at the high school, we have 6 armed security specialists. At the middle school, we have 4 armed security specialists. At the elementary schools, each have 1 armed security specialist per building. At each preschool campus, we have 1 armed security specialist. The Lakewood Township pays for security school resource officers. We have 1 assigned to Lakewood High School, 1 assigned to Lakewood Middle School, and the elementary schools, we have 1 shared. They take turns, 1 officer takes turns going to each school. All buildings have access control. Staff members utilize a swipe card to gain access to the buildings. All staff members must have ID badges visibly displayed at all times. All staff members must display a district parking pass in their cars at all times while parked in the district parking lot. All buildings have retired law enforcement officers, which we call security specialists. All buildings have video surveillance cameras that can be viewed at all times by security personnel, the Director of Security, the Director of Technology, and the Superintendent. Lakewood High School and Lakewood Middle School have metal detectors at the main entrance of the schools, and security officers also use wands that are available at all times. All visitors must present ID to security staff before entering the buildings. Visitors must be escorted through the buildings, and they may never be left unattended in the building at any time. Volunteers must have criminal background checks, or they may not volunteer in any of our schools. Thanks to the generosity of Lakewood Township, we are going to be utilizing GXP maps. They're going to be created for every school in the district. This will allow first responders to access the floor plans of all schools within minutes via a smart device. First responders will be able to actually visualize their location on the plan and coordinate the scene in real time. The Lakewood School District will be conducting lockdown drills with the Lakewood Police Department to ensure coordination of all services. The New Jersey Department of Education's Office of School Preparedness and Emergency Planning was contacted in regard to training district staff. They actually called me back today, and we've actually been playing phone tag, so district staff will be trained again by the New Jersey Department of Education. And we are researching the possibility of having remote access with the Lakewood Police Department, which will enable them to actually, if there was a crisis, they would actually be able to gain access of our video cameras, our security cameras in time of crisis. And that is just a brief overview of our security of Lakewood School District.
We've actually surveyed schools in Ocean County, and to Lakewood's credit, we are actually ahead in security, and I invite you, I've been at several school districts suing them, but they're nevertheless, with our security apparatus. Again, nothing is foolproof, but as far as security, as far as the metal detectors at the high school and middle school, but we did invite Lieutenant Butterworth and Sergeant Marshall to share with us a few words as to the relationship with Lakewood Police Department and the Board of Education, which we've seen to be very fruitful, and we hope to continue to collaborate. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce again Lieutenant Butterworth and Sergeant Marshall, and ask them to just say a few words, because safety is paramount to our educational mission.
Thank you everyone for having us here. As a former student, I know that security here specifically is very important to myself and the whole police department as a whole. Most of us ate lunch in this room, so we know how it is to be a student here in Lakewood. It's really important to have safety for the students and the staff, for everybody else that comes through here. I know that myself, Chief Meyer, we look forward to moving forward and making it a safe place for everybody.
Thank you so much. Let's have a hand for our police. And Sergeant Marshall.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I actually serve as the liaison with the schools. I'm going to be working with the public schools and the private schools with the new school security initiative. We have some good plans that we've been working on, and we're going to try to coordinate with all the school officials, as well as the police department, in case there's any issues or any crisis that we have. It'll be a coordinated effort with everyone. You know, although any situation is going to be chaotic, we like to have a little controlled chaos and, you know, be prepared for whatever we might encounter at any time. I know the administrators here have my contact information, and check out our Lakewood Police website. My contact information is out there, so any questions you have, you can call, email, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Sergeant Marshall. Let's have a hand. We truly appreciate everything the police department does for us, and we look to furthering that relation. Thank you so much, gentlemen. The mapping that was discussed will be hopefully within the next few weeks. Again, it's to use the word cool, but it's a really cool system where the perimeter of the building, and God forbid, we once had this numerous years ago where we had a situation where we didn't know where people were. This will identify where any police who come, where they are, of course just for the police, but this is a tremendous system that many schools have already in Ocean County, but thanks to the generosity of the township, since we're looking for about $20 million, they have agreed to fund this mapping, which should be together within a few weeks. So we thank Ms. Winters for her great work. We thank Teddy Bear back there, wherever he might be. Is he around us still? We thank him. And we continue any input from staff or parents as to how to further improve safety. We ask you to please contact Mr. Stillwell or Ms. Winters so we can further satisfy all of our security needs so we can have a safe and continued safe learning environment. God willing. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Lakewood High School's 2017-2018 Student Council President, Carla Farkman. Carla?
Hi, Carla.
Hello, once again, I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity of student representative. This and next month will be filled with great events for Lakewood High School students, starting with the annual gift auction happening on March 23rd at 6:30, continuing with the Lakewood High School's fifth annual poetry slam on the 23rd of this month. I'd also like to bring to attention the amount of college visits that Lakewood students are eligible to attend from local colleges like Monmouth and Seton Hall, to colleges like Cadwell and NJIT, but also very prestigious schools like Columbia University and NYU. As a senior, these trips are vital and have been a great asset to motivate students, not only seniors but juniors, to work hard and have pride from where they come from and where they're going. Another event that will help our students think further into their futures is the career fair occurring tomorrow night and the Young Men's Career Fair at Berkeley College this Friday, where more than 20 young bright men will attend. As well as these events, the honorable breakfast will be next week, and we thank the board and parents and teachers for motivating our students to do their best. The National Honor Society banquet will be March 1st. This is where the top 30% of the senior class will celebrate their hard work and dedication to Lakewood High School. I'd also like to mention and congratulate the bowling team for making it to states for the first time in 20 years. That's all for the month of February and March.
This month's Superintendent Award goes to a student who's extremely bright. She has taken honors for advanced placement classes since her freshman year of high school. Most students find such a rigorous schedule of coursework to be very challenging. However, this student has excelled in each one of these classes and is currently ranked in the top 5% of her senior class. While many of her classmates have chosen to take easier course loads senior year, this student has continued to challenge herself by electing to take 4 advanced placement classes. In addition to her academic achievements, this student has taken on many leadership roles outside of the classroom. She is Vice President of the National Honor Society and Treasurer of Television Production Club. She has played both junior varsity and varsity volleyball for the past 4 years. As a member of PALS, she has participates in various volunteer and community service activities both in school and in the local community. She also volunteers as a peer tutor at Lakewood High School and assistant teacher at her church. She is kind-hearted, compassionate, and always willing to lend a helping hand. She is truly a remarkable individual who has a successful future ahead of her. She plans to attend Ocean County College in the fall, where she will major in mathematics. Please join me in congratulating Maria Alonso Herrera.
And her mother. Her mother is here. I see. Let's say, come on. Mom, come up. Yes, mom, come up. That would be nice.
Pase adelante, señora, para que le saquen una foto.
Mom works hard, I'm sure, to
Ella también
make this
trabaja
happen.
duro para que ella haga todo lo que tiene que hacer.
Pioneer's Pride is back. There you go. Through the chair, I guess vice chair, if we could, we do have some announcements this Friday night. There will be the Lakewood High School annual Poetry Slam sponsored by the NAACP, Gospel Choir, and African American Society. If we could have this posted tomorrow, Jim and Ms. Winters, okay. Through the chair, and I see Ms. Harriger in the back. There is the Lakewood High School gift auction coming up in 2018, Friday, March 23rd at 6:30 p.m. If we could post this on the website, since that's another important event. Okay, we also have an update. If those of you who were warriors last time, only last week, we do have an update regarding transportation. The numbers that were discussed last time have been reviewed and are continuing to be reviewed, but we will be posting work in progress documents tomorrow. Work in progress, it will say on the back, so the public can follow what was a dedicated 4-hour meeting to transportation last week. We do have some preliminary, and it was nice to see everyone working collaboratively, Mr. Shafter, Mr. Finger, Mr. Campbell, Ms. Winters, the board, but we do have some updated numbers as to route costs and other things, one for 16-17 and one for 17-18. We did listen to the public who had some very good questions, and that will be posted tomorrow. There will be action taken tonight in an effort, again, I do give credit when credit is due to a certain newspaper that actually it was, I think, Mr. Bergman and Stacy, but to look at all line items, and I'm paraphrasing, tonight there will be, and it's on the addendum or additions to agenda, move that the board authorizes the school business administrator, it's on the additions if you have those were in the back, to prepare, letter L, to prepare and solicit a request for proposal for a transportation efficiency study. Said study shall include an analysis of historical costs for the past 5 years for both district-operated and contracted bus routes. The study shall also include recommendations for cost efficiencies for both district-operated and contracted routes. Furthermore, the board authorized a review by Shoup SBA LLC Mr. Jim Shoup, who already was a consultant formerly of the State Board of Ed, of the request for proposal prior to release. There is a draft RFP. The board discussed this and are instructing the administration to have the RFP out by next Wednesday. By next Wednesday to have the RFP out. It is in draft form, so it is doable. It could be sent to Mr. Shoup to review. But those of you, we thank you for participating last time, and those of you who heard about it from until around midnight, the board and monitor have come to consensus. Isn't that great? We can sing the Hora, Kumbaya, whatever we can do, but we no longer need the township, who has very generously were inclined to pay for this. We are going to pay for this, and the monitor has agreed not to override this, in that we're all looking to have more efficient transportation, and we've all, I guess it's like December 31st here, we've all put aside our differences, or they, the board, the monitor, so this will be funded by the district. It will be looking for efficiencies, and there is a draft RFP. It will be going onto the website, it will be going to the press, and it will be going to wherever we post things by this coming Wednesday. So, Mr. Monitor, did I state that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, board, did I state that correctly?
Yes.
So there was a purpose to our discussion. Our next special meeting, when we have one, is going to be about special ed. That you should bring sleeping bags to, because that will probably be longer. But we do thank everyone, and again, I see some of the public who is here. It's actually, there's going to be an RFP we've taken, and everyone here has agreed. So we thank the township. Ms. Winters, please let Mr. Henshaw know this evening we thank them. We will find other uses for their generous offers, but right now we have come to consensus as a district, which is always nice, to go out for an RFP for transportation. Also, I just want to bring to the public's knowledge, if you look at letter N, no, not N, I'm sorry. Actually, it's a separate piece of paper, but it's out there. We are letter P, as in Paul. That's on one piece of paper.
It's on the agenda number 2. The additions to body of the agenda number 2.
Okay, that's where it is. We are moving that the Board of Education give permission to the business administrator and purchasing agent to advertise a request for a proposal for leased educational preschool program space for the 18-19 school year. That is to go out by next Wednesday also. Is that doable, purchasing agent? Yes, thank you. BAs, is that doable? Thank you. So this, again, those of you who are following the collaborative discussions here and the analysis of our needs, as we introduced several weeks ago, and as we did on Stream Live or live stream, there is very little space for preschoolers in the district, special ed preschoolers, so we are actively seeking out space to lease so we can expand our preschool opportunities, so we can actually have students attend in-district preschool programming. So that is another thing. You see, this live stream is becoming more and more valuable. So we are doing that. That doesn't ensure us that we're going to get anyone who wants to rent. Of course, with special education students, we don't want to put them in isolation in rented spaces. We need to include them, collaborate. But since we have no building space, that is something that is also on the agenda that we wanted to bring to public's knowledge. Ms. Winters, is there anything else based on the collaborative, informative, long discussions here that we should let the public know about? Yes. Jim, while you're coming up this way, there's a resolution in the back to the left. If you could ask someone to help you bring that up, the easel. And we will talk about this later, if that's the one that has 4 points on it. 4 points on it? Yeah, that's it? This is an important resolution which the board is voting on this evening. It has come to our attention that there are an apartment complex in Lakewood where no less than approximately, according to real time, 175 public school students reside at. While we have no authority to dictate, we're not the land use department here, but we do have a fiduciary duty to our public school students, and we are passing a resolution, or we're asking the board, which we discussed this, to pass a resolution recognizing that we want our children to come to school refreshed. We want our students to come to school having places that are safe to live in. We can't dictate, that is the township's role, but this is affecting, we don't have to go through at least 40 studies I just found on my phone that speaks about kids who actually get good sleep and good rest and have apartments to go home to that are heated and etc. That usually increases performance. You would agree, and we did discuss this on the board about this, so that is, we can't do anything. I do have good news about that issue, thanks to the efforts of Mayor Coles and Mr. McNeil, Lakewood Housing Officer, I believe he has some title. Oscar, who I see walking in, hello Oscar, hola, and others. There has been positive progress on this situation where, in fact, this evening, parents are coming here at 8:30, where we are going to be meeting. I offered my time as attorney, and the landlord will be here to discuss in real time and how we can, again, we are just doing this as a what I believe is our legal fiduciary responsibility. Of course, we have no legal authority, but we want to make it clear that our children, public school and non-public school, are to be treated with respect and need to live in situations that are safe for them. What is interesting, I did some research today, despite being in a trial, all of those units, according to Lakewood Township, have COs. All of those have state inspections, but nevertheless, we are here to, if we can, facilitate bringing members of this community together in the best interest of our children. So these meetings that go on and on actually sometimes, not always, have some results. With that being said, I do not know what happened to Mr. Bender, but we have the Vice President and Chair. So if we could, Mr. Campbell, where should we go next?
Right now, we're looking at approving the public minutes for January 16, 2018. The public minutes were January 24th, 2018. And the special meeting minutes of January 31st, 2018. You're going to be voting in a block. So I could get a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Mrs. Lacken?
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. McNeeman? Mr. Newhouse? Mr. Rodriguez is absent. Mr. Tendler? Mr. Treisier?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson-Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Bender is absent. Welcome back, Mr. Bender. Would you like to vote?
Right, he will go, he will move on. We're not gonna, he doesn't move.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Any correspondence or communications? We have no recognition of the public. No one signed
Well,
up.
we do have recognition of the public, but no one signed it.
Next on the agenda is to accept the corrections to the agenda. There was one correction, I'm reading it in. It's on page 9 of the additions. Okay, that's the additions number 1. It's on page 9. It's just changing the termination date. It's page 9, item E, under transfers. It's just changing the termination date from January 30th, 2018 to June 30th, 2018.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Blackett.
Yes.
Mrs. Olive.
Yes.
Mr. McNeely. Yes. Mr. Newhouse.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, absent. Mr. Tendler, absent. Mr. Tricer.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson Byers.
Yes.
Yes.
Next, I need a motion to accept the 2 additions that were listed there. One addition here was listed here, you received it in the executive session there. It also includes on the new business a resolution to ensure health and safety of the students' living conditions, which is noted on the poster board there. That's included in the additions to the agenda. All right, it's actually there's 9 pages on the additions, number 1. And on number 2, there's 1 item listed on number 2. And that's to give permission to the business administrative person to advertise the request for proposal for lease space for the preschool program space. That's number 2 of the additions. So I need a motion to accept additions number 1 and additions number 2.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mrs. Lockett.
Yes.
Mrs. Olive.
Yes.
Mr. McNeely. Yes. Mr. Newhouse.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, absent. Mr. Tendler, absent. Mr. Tricer.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson Byers.
Yes.
Mr. Bedford.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, we have the business agenda. That would include everything on the original agenda and the additions to the agenda. That's what you're voting on. Any questions? Okay, also on the additions to the body of the agenda, you have to make a choice. It's on page 1 about the solicitation of the 3 responses were received and evaluated as following. So you have to vote on 1. I'll take a separate vote for item number N for the non-public security guards separately from the rest of the agenda. This way we can actually vote on that.
I'm for voting on the recommendations of the administration, approving them. I'm confused what the vote is going to be.
This is we advertised for bids for non-public security guards. 3 bids were responses were received. So we have to either have firm 1, 2, or 3.
What is the recommendation of the administration? That is, the administration. What page are you looking at, sir?
It's page number 1 of the addition.
Okay, page number 1 of the additions.
All 3 qualified?
No, actually, we'll ask Ms. Piazzante, our purchasing agent. 1 company did not qualify, is that correct? So it's 2 companies who did qualify to provide this non-public security, which is from a grant, not using budget monies. It's a bid, it's state money dedicated to this cause, can only be used for this. There were 3 submissions, of which 1 did not qualify, is that right? And then 2 others did. If you look at what page again, sir?
It's number 1, page 1 of the additions to the body of the agenda.
Which what I was told was the recommendation of Ms. Winters was, what is that there was 1 company which, well, why don't you tell us, or someone tell us? David, tell us, Monitor Shafter, great.
Iron Rock Strategic Security Corp is a low bidder for unarmed security officer, retired police officers, and active police officers. Iron Rock Security and Strategic Security bid the exact same price for armed security officers, $29.47 an hour.
My question is, with the same way we have multiple vendors and then the schools choose, why can we have the same?
Here's what the law says. Whenever 2 or more responses to requests of a person, agent, or offer equal prices and are the lowest responsible bids or proposals, the Board of Education may award the contract to the vendor whose response to the discretion of the Board of Education is most advantageous to the price and other factors considered. So you have the option of awarding either Iron Rock or Strategic Corp, based on how you believe they would best serve.
Can I break this down really simply? Where is that page? Can someone give me that page? Because this was a concern. Thank you. Company, and correct me Diane if I'm wrong, Mrs. Pianzante, U.S. Security Associates did not qualify, is that right? Okay, so they're out of it. Strategic Security was what I'm understanding, the lowest responsible for many categories. The one category where Iron Rock and Strategic Security were the same was Armed Security Officers. Am I getting this right, David?
Correct.
Okay, so U.S. Security Associates didn't qualify based on a review by the business office. The other two did. If you look at the prices, they're quite radically different, but I don't get involved in these things, but you can see it. The only one area where Iron Rock and Strategic were the same, which is what we've heard interest in, is Armed Security Officers at $29.47. Of course, I could be corrected by the business, the monitor, but that's what I'm reading here. So it was the recommendation of the superintendent and her staff to award it to Strategic Security for all the areas listed, but for Armed Security Officers, which would go to Iron Rock. Am I saying that right? Good?
We go to whoever the board chose.
Okay, so the board has to make it, it can't go to both. Can't go to both, Mr. Monitor is correct. So what is your recommendation as far as that one area, the only area, Armed Security Officer, they both came in the same bid of $29.47. So the way it works is we ask the superintendent, what is her recommendation for that area? It's on this page. And then the board can discuss that. That's how it works everywhere, including here.
Discussions. Strategic Security has, looks like they have one person available. There's an advantage with strategic security for the easy to have one bill for all security. But for Iron Rock, it's a local contractor that may be more familiar with the community. So that's why it's a really.
How often do we use active police officers? How often do we use those?
The armed security officers are the ones that are using those. Armed security officers.
Again, let me remind you, we've had presentations here. It's really, and David will agree or disagree, but I think he will agree, we've done the bid twice. The only area you can discuss now, I've given my paper away, is the armed security, because the other company came in lower. Is that right, David?
No, they came in the same.
No, all the other areas.
The other ones came in lower.
Yes. So the only area you could discuss, as David just said, is the armed security. We don't have to go through this whole thing again. The armed security, they're both the same. So David has presented two options. One, go with a company that has more staff, or one, go with a company, if you recall, we had former Chief of Police Lawson, yes, and others, or a local company. We cannot make that decision for you. So on that one area, which I don't have the paper, but armed security, you have to tell, by way of a vote, which company you want.
I make a motion for Iron Rock Security.
On that one area, which is armed security. Is there a second?
I second that. I can make it a second, yes.
Okay. Vote, please, if that's okay with the chair and vice chair.
Yes.
This is actually for the Iron Rock to provide the armed security officers for bid number 1217-18.
Correct.
Mr. Blackman.
He just had to leave. So he was just here. I don't know where he went. Continue.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
Mr. Dankley.
Yes.
Mr. Newhouse.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, absent. Mr. Chandler, absent. Mr. Treisinger.
Yes.
Ms. Jackson Byron.
Yes.
Yes.
So that passes?
Yes.
Okay, so you can relate, Ms. Winters, if you would please, via email to all the non-public schools. This money is exclusively for non-public, comes from a non-public grant. If you could please notify them of the results of this, because we want to use the money, not like last year where you sent hundreds of thousands of dollars back. We didn't get a reduction in taxes for sending it back. So if you would please post that on where we post things and let all the schools know. Good. What's next, Mr. VA?
Right now, we're going to vote on the business agenda,
La agenda de business.
which would include the additions to the body of the agenda, excluding the one armed security officer, which we just carved out of the resolution. Can I get a motion to accept that?
Motion.
Second.
Está bien, tenemos que hacer un voto para un policía ligero.
We have a vote, Mrs. Blackett?
That's to follow the administration recommendation regarding the other items which were there lower.
Yes.
Yes.
Strategic security.
Yes.
Mrs. Gonzalez?
Yes.
It's the entire business agenda.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the security. Well, it does. It has security as strategic security for hourly unarmed.
The other items except
Everything other than
Yes.
the hourly rate armed, which is voted on separately for
Yes.
Iron Rock.
Yes.
So that's what you're voting on.
Yes.
Mrs. Blackman, you said yes. Ms. Gonzalez, you said yes. Mr. Nakdima?
Yes.
Mr. Newhouse? Yes. Mr. Rodriguez? Absent. Mr. Tendler? Absent. Mr. Treisker?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson-Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Bender?
Yes.
Next, we have the superintendent's agenda, which includes the additions to the body of the agenda, number one, and the additions to the body of additions to the agenda, number two.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Is there a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Second?
And there's a second too. Mrs. Blackett?
Yes.
Mrs. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Nakdima?
Yes.
Mr. Newhouse? Yes. Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tendler? Mr. Treisker?
Yes.
Mrs. Olive?
Yes.
Mr. Bender?
Yes.
You can call me.
You're important, I don't know why.
Ms. Jackson-Byers, I thought you did.
You said,
No, you called me twice.
Oh, sorry. Ms.
Well, two
Jackson-Byers.
of her might be good, but we still have to close.
absolutely, yes.
My apologies.
Yes.
Okay. Open.
Is there any old business? Is there any old business?
The new business on the agenda, I hear whispers from the left side of my ear.
The new business was voted on with the additions to the agenda. It was brought up.
And,
It was added.
okay, so just a, thank you. She's good, you don't mess with Joanne. Don't mess with Joanne.
On the new business that was on the additions to the agenda, which I mentioned about
Same answer.
the resolution to ensure the health and safety of the students, we're going to vote on that. Can I get a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Now, you two, I know, were by accident. So twice.
Who seconded? I had,
Miss Amy.
okay,
I'll second.
okay. Mrs. Lackett.
I can't see.
Mrs. Lackett.
I'm explaining to the board member, it's about the Congress Street resolution, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
It was on the agenda. Did I see yes? Mrs. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Nakdima?
Yes.
Mr. Newhouse? Yes. Mr. Rodriguez is absent. Mr. Tendler is absent. Mr. Treisker?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson-Byers?
Yes.
Mr. Bender?
Yes.
We do have, through the chair, and I want to thank Ms. Malcolm, we do have this resolution in Spanish and English, so if we could give that out now somehow, someone could, the resolution regarding, which I'm happy to report through the efforts of the township, the landlord, Voice of Latina, Oscar, and others, we are making some positive strides in that area. Again, as a board, while we cannot enforce, but we are we want our students from our numbers. We have about 175 students who reside. It's approximately, I could be wrong, 100 units, I believe, right, Oscar, 100? And some very good things are coming out. The township has been involved. Mayor Coles, we thank you because it's important to us. As I said earlier, we've been told by the township that the landlord does have all of the certificates, rental and otherwise, but we are going to be meeting in a closed, that is the landlord and some of the tenants, in a closed meeting. I have volunteered at no charge my time to just collaborate. That that's why we're gonna have a meeting, but the board did pass that earlier. When is our next board meeting?
In a month from now, next week.
Tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna announce we might have a special meeting prior to that to discuss another line item called special education, which will be another working meeting, but we will give ample time to that. I also asked the monitor, because I see the shirts coming, which God bless, we asked for direction regarding what monetary availabilities exist for us to negotiate. I have yet to see a response to that, because you have not gotten a response to that from the state, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay, so we tell our teachers who, I don't know if you saw in the back, you all got it on all staff on Sunday. To the credit of Ms. Winters, she has made a commitment, which she made last Thursday night, that she will not send out reduction in force letters. She will not. Now, if she's ordered by a court to do that, that would be something which she would have to follow. But we are making it clear again to our staff who we need, and again, this is a unanimous thing. Everyone said this last time. Again, the letter's blown up in the back. Ms. Winters just reconfirming you are not sending out reduction in force letters. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Again, so we await the state monitor who awaits Mr. Forney and others to tell us what area, how much money can we negotiate with, because it would be nice to know that before you negotiate, and Mr. Monitor has confirmed he has not heard back yet. While we're at that, just to establish the record, Mr. Monitor, have you heard back from the state regarding the $17 to $20 million that you acknowledge we need? Have you heard back from the state yet? No. Mr. Monitor, have you heard back from the state as far as the incorrect demand to pay back our loan early, about $2 million or so, or this year, that number, you did, I saw the email, thank you. Have you heard back from the state about their error yet?
No.
No. So we are asking Ms. Winters, the board discussed this, and we thank Monitor Shafter. I've seen the emails he's trying. If you could please write a letter to the commissioner and to anyone else, again, asking to please correct the issue of the pay us back, even though we told you don't have to pay us back. What is that amount, David?
I think it's $1,309,000, but I'm not.
Right, if you remember that. And also, just so the public is aware, and Jim, if you could post this tomorrow, the superintendent has sent now 4 letters, 2 to the commissioner, 2 to the governor, asking to meet, asking to work with us. We are going, as a board, we have decided April 1st is more than enough time to meet with us and to hear us. If not, we will take the next step, which seems to work, including buses and other such things. But this time we will be on the property, not asked to stay at somewhere distant. So, Ms. Winters, if you would post, I think the staff has already gotten the letters you sent, but they're online already, they're on the website. So we want to just report to the public that we did not forget what we discussed Thursday night. Mr. Shafter did reach out again, and for some reason, Mr. Shafter, who works for the state, can't seem to get an answer from his own boss. And again, his boss is a lovely fellow. Everyone's lovely, but we have to make sure that in May, because there will be no RIF letters. Remember that, there will be no RIF letters. So you got the message, right? So therefore, there should be some solution in Disney World here before that. Thank you. Anything else?
Is there any good welfare?
I think Mr. Treiser and Mr. Finger want to say something.
I'm just going to motion to adjourn.
Want to just, go ahead.
Mr. Campbell and I attended a meeting today. County School Business Administrator gave a presentation on budget. And it appears that the governor will be getting his extension to release state aid until 48 hours after his budget address, that will be approximately March 15th. And he did officially, unofficially said today, even though the date to submit your budget to the county is March 20th, that there'll probably be some leeway. But as of right now, no official date. So look, it appears our next regularly scheduled meeting is March 28th. That's probably too late. So just keep in mind, we may need to meet March 19th, 20th, 21st, somewhere around there to have, to approve the introduced budget.
So if I could say that in simple English, we have to submit a budget by when?
There's no official date.
What would you suggest?
Well, the county BA said the official date of March 20th probably will be extended, but he doesn't know when it will be extended to.
Will you be prepared with the monitors, since it's a revenue issue, not an expenditure? David, that's what you're going to say tomorrow, I'm sure. Revenue, not expenditure. I'm sorry, you agree with that?
You're not allowed to prep me.
I'm not prepping you, that's what you said publicly. I will be there tomorrow, David.
No,
So,
all I'm saying is just, if you have your calendars out, March 28th is the next regularly scheduled.
when do you think we should have a meeting by?
Well, hopefully we'll have an official date from the county BA soon, but I would say, mark your calendars right now, keep 19th, 20th, and 21st open, we may probably.
Well, just one of the three, we're not going to have 3 meetings in a row, I see.
Just, keep your calendars open, it's going to be one of those 3 days.
What are the 3 days you mentioned? Bob? What are the 3 days you mentioned? Bob?
The 19th, 20th, and 21st, I think that's what, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Okay. With the board, can you all check your calendars for the 21st, because we want the public to be part of that budget process. How does March 21st look for all of you?
The only thing I'm going to say, if we get confirmation, if we get confirmation from the state that there's a later date, then maybe we could do it even on the 28th or whatever. I'm just saying, just a heads up, because he said that today, just tell your boards to be prepared.
Oh, you are? Okay, we want the monitor here, so he can say it again, it's a revenue issue, not an expenditure issue. He will not be available the 21st, so could you look on the 20th? Okay, the 20th, we want to do this, we want the public to be part of this, in this process of demanding money for public school students. So the 20th, is that Tuesday?
Yes.
Tuesday, it's not Prince Spaghetti Day, it's not Carvel Buy One Get One, but 19th, 20th, Tuesday, is everyone available? It's not a holiday of some sort? No holidays? Okay.
You said 20th?
20th, because Dave is not here the 21st. Oh, you're not here. Okay, are you here the 19th? 20th? Okay, well, 21st. Oh, okay. David, how, are you leaving us the 21st for the vacation?
No, it's a medical issue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't, what about the 22nd?
It should be okay.
How does 22nd, Thursday night's usually good for certain people, Charlie and others, 22nd. Can you all check? This is so much easier in Zamba, right, than doing emails on and on. 22nd, because we want the superintendent to be here.
What time?
The usual.
Well, we wouldn't need an exec session if it's just solely a meeting, just to introduce the budget. So why don't we start at 7?
7, the 22nd.
Not earlier than 7?
Not, you don't want to, you won't get me. You won't get me.
I mean, I'll do it.
Okay. 22nd.
I'm good for the 22nd.
You're
Just the date.
good?
Can we move it
So
up a
put
little
in
bit?
your calendar.
Move it up. 6. Move it up.
6 o'clock.
Like 6, like move it up just a little bit, so it's not so late.
Well, this is good with everyone else.
What, right, you want to make sure you have a quorum.
Is 6:50 then?
6:50, how about 7? Do I hear 7? Do I hear 7:05?
6:30.
6:30?
6:30, I would do it.
Good. 6:30, please advertise immediately that there will be a...
We're not gonna advertise it yet until
Robert, we could always cancel.
Until we get confirmation from the county DA.
Well, it has to be earlier.
Because they have to be early.
Well, as of now, it's the 22nd. Please advertise. If we have to change it, we'll deal with that. But we have Mrs. Winters away, and Mr. Finger, so you're not away, all right? Okay, good.
I'm going on vacation the 22nd of March.
Okay, Robert, not tonight, the Catskills are closed. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, would like to congratulate and recognize Mrs. Jones upon her completion of the graduation of the SIR program. We acknowledge and thank her for her commitment and her dedication and her responsibilities for the children of the Lakewood Public School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Mrs. Jones here. Oh, she's the assistant. Oh, okay. I caught.
We still thank her.
Of course. Anything else, or are we adjourning?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
4:12.
Motion. Second? Motion? No motion.
Motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, public. Thank you, Lakewood Police. Thank you, Director of Security. Thank you, our teachers and staff. Thank you, public.
Thank you, Michael.
We will be meeting, those who are meeting for the situation, we will be meeting in the room over